Has been good, interesting, and I brought some information for you to see. Then we can have a look. This is Daravi. It's a beautiful book made from some University of Norway, and this is the work that I helped. I was part of the program, the project. To identify urban poverty in Naranganj, which is a city outside Dhaka.
Okay.
So I just want to show you some kind of...
Shall we start and say hello? Yeah? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I start. Hello, good morning. We are going to start our lecture. So today is about the concepts of infrastructure for development, the role of community-driven processes.
Hold on. I just want to, wait, let's flip this around so we know what's going on.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oops. So, hi, Shanice and Paul. Okay,
Hi.
we're trying a new way of recording because it didn't work last week. So just to get to attach names to faces, this is Nadia, Dr. Nadia Goodman, and I'm Regina. So we're the two main tutors in this program, and you'll see us. You'll see Nadia several times during the, and I'm here with you every week, yeah, for the student-led seminars. And hopefully this works. This will be uploaded on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay? And what we've decided is we'll do 2 lectures in the morning. I think that's a better setup. Okay. And then in the afternoon, we devote the full afternoon to the student-led seminar, feedback on the work you've produced for that week, as well as how we integrate this week's lectures. Yeah, this week's lectures for your next week's student-led presentation. So we're on week 3 now, and let's just give a report from last week. You were able to meet online, correct?
Yeah, we did on Tuesday.
Yeah.
With both Paul and Shanice?
No, just Paul.
Okay, just Paul. So for the record, just Paul. So Shanice, we need to get you involved, yeah? And also we decided last week, if you're unable to make it to the live student-led seminar, if Shanice and Paul could prepare their part of the work with an audio recording, which this week Paul has sent us. So now we're going to integrate that. I'll give it to you before lunch break and see when you want to integrate that into the overall presentation. And because there's an audio, we can listen to Paul. And the value of that is we can give feedback. So not just from Nadia and I, but from the 3 of you as well. Okay, Paul also made some requests, is to have better quality recording. Yeah, so he will have access to the feedback. Therefore, we better give feedback for the whole project. So that means every afternoon, once we upload the student-led seminar, everyone has access to the feedback.
Yeah.
Even your group members that are not here. Okay? So there are a couple of things we want to do this afternoon. One is, Nadia and I felt that I think we will show you a part of the student analysis last year, because we're a bit concerned that you're not quite aware of the amount of work, yeah, and the quality of work. So what we're going to do is to have you look at it this afternoon and to analyze it, yeah, and to also give us suggestions. You have to think as a group, what are each of our skills? And how do we intend to contribute, yeah, so that we can produce a project? We're not saying you should produce the same project, because those students have a different skill set, yeah, and they may have different visions for how to achieve it. So actually, yours is a different project, you're a different consultancy, you'll probably have different visions. That's what we would like to do. And we would also like to have the input of Shanice and Paul on how they can contribute towards the making of this project. Also, I've organized it so that they can add you to the GIS module of Dr. Graham Wood. Now, he teaches that module, but he can't teach you. However, there are a sequence of tutorials and exercises in there. Yeah, so if you're serious about learning GIS, you have to do it in your own time. Okay, but he says it's much better than what you can find on YouTube because he's already chosen, yeah, how you learn GIS for a particular problem. Yeah? The thing is, you do not have access. You're not registered on the module. You just have access to the material. Okay, because he has 32 students and he won't have time to ask about the thing. So it's a self-learning thing because Paul asked, you know, if he could find that thing. So I found you access to that, and I'm also trying to get Alex's friend to come in and give you a GIS seminar.
We're already registered on this.
I will put all of you. Yeah, unless you're not interested.
No, we're interested. I'm not sure if we have enough time to produce something with.
Well, that's the thing. You don't have to do GIS, but all of you can map.
We
Right.
can do it together and other things.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you don't have to do GIS, you know, if you don't have time to do it. But if you're interested, you can begin to learn the skill. Yeah, because to be honest, last year we actually had someone. Yeah, so in the past few projects we ran, there was somebody that knew GIS, but they really mastered the GIS because they had a problem to work on. Yeah, so that's what I was saying, that if you wanted to learn it, this is a good time.
Can I just add to that? I think it's really, nowadays, it's really important to learn it. Because in any project that you do, you have to have someone with the skill of GIS. So if you have the opportunity to do this course within this masters and come out with also this skill, you can sell it, in the outside world, because in projects you have to have it.
And it's inevitable that to do the data and the research, there has to be spatial implications.
Always.
So even if you're not the super expert in it, your company will have a GIS person, but unless you know how to use it, you don't know what the potential is.
And also you don't know how to manage it. If you're a project manager, you're responsible for managing it. You have someone with this skill, but you need to know how it works to manage this person to produce the best of it.
We both recommend that for your dissertation to actually use it as a research method. Yeah, so you're also learning. But this module you can begin. To begin to use it. Because your data sets are backed out there. Okay. So that's introductions. I just want to put the camera to these three and you just introduce.
You can say hi.
You can see? Yeah, say
Now
hi.
I think you have to move a little bit.
Yeah, okay, so just, there. Can you see each other? That's Omar.
Hi, sure.
Yeah, okay. So, wait, let me just see what okay, so back to Nadia.
Yeah? Okay.
Okay, all yours.
Okay, thank you very much. So today, as I mentioned, we are going to talk about the different tools that we have in order to work with the community, in order to engage with the community, in the process. So that's quite important. So the overview of this morning is, I'm going to show you a video produced by EED on the participatory learning, and then we are going to discuss some concepts, some tools, and I will give you some examples of community-driven projects. So projects who have been developed, designed to bring the community, the core of the needs of the community into the program or project. So let's start here. Can you listen? Can you hear?
Yeah.
Participation is the cornerstone of socially just social development and poverty reduction, and it has remained central to IIED's work for 4 decades. During the Green Revolution of the 1970s, it became clear that boosts to agricultural production were not benefiting many of the world's poorest rural communities that depend on agriculture for their livelihoods. Enabling these communities to participate in planning and implementing their own development became a new priority. In 1985, pioneers and practitioners across the world came together at a workshop in Thailand to further explore participatory development and design a range of tools and tactics for implementing it. International Community of Practice was born. Experience and expertise in this new field was evolving quickly. In order to document and share it, IIED and the Institute for Development Studies conceived and created a new journal for practitioners. Originally called RRA Notes, the journal was renamed PLA Notes and later again as Participatory Learning and Action. Over its 25-year publishing history, it provided a voice from the field and a place for practitioners to share their experiences on the ground. With the readership of over 20,000 people in 121 countries and its international expert peer review panel, Participatory Learning and Action became a leading authority on participatory processes, addressing new and diverse challenges such as adaptation to climate change, Web 2.0 technology, and youth and governance in Africa. The PLA archive on the IIED website offers a substantial resource for those working to enhance the participation of ordinary people in local, regional, national, and international decision-making. These pages contain the content of the journal series from 1988 to 2013, with individual articles and complete issues available for free download. www.iied.org/PLA.
So I just wanted to show you about IEED, which is the Institute for International Environment and Development. So they have a very rich source of any kind of document needed. So they are kind of a leading kind of organization who does lots of research around the world, and you can get any kind of information related to poverty reduction, climate change, governance, in this website. So if you look at the notes, the briefing of this lecture, you can see the links there because I have added. So I just want to give you an idea about when the discussion of the importance of bringing the community into the voice of the community into the developing a program started. So we have some key concepts that they mentioned: the rapid rural appraisal, participatory rural appraisal, community view process and development. So I'm going to give you just some kind of background about the rapid rural appraisal. So that was developed before the 80s, So in 80s, there was a big movement in understand how to include the community voice into programs design and project implementation. So there was a group of scholars who devoted their time on this study. And one of the very important scholar was Robert Chambers. He's actually based in University of Sussex here in the UK, and he started to discuss and develop methods. He's still alive actually, and how he's still teaching there, how to bring the voice of the community. Following his kind of guidance and practice, as they mentioned here, there was a group of people who got engaged and involved in how do we do that? Because most of the time, programs and projects, they are based and they're developed outside the countries, and sometimes they are bring in the concept is developed outside and they bring into the country for implementation. And sometimes people who have developed concepts, they are not really aware about the real need of the people on the ground. So that's, you have to be really bear in mind the importance of always engage the people living, because they know exactly what is needed. and they know exactly what is important for them. So the participatory tools, techniques to improve inclusiveness. There are many tools and techniques, yeah, as I mentioned. So the participatory rural appraisal was a kind of, how do I say, a step up from the rapid rural appraisal. So how do you implement it? You go to the community. Basically here was created in order to understand the rural aspect. But similar techniques can be also adopted in the urban context, yeah? Because it's tools that you can go and discuss and get the information from the communities. So, but initially, the whole discussion was about the rural aspect. So, so those are the three important concepts. And then we also have the PR now is more commonly known as participatory learning in action, a set of tools and techniques for gathering, sharing, analyzing information and planning. Just to show you here, this is when we were working in this urban poverty in Bangladesh, when I was working in Naranganj. So what we were doing there was we were helping and supporting the mayor or the municipality to have a better understanding about what was the needs from the community. So here was in this photograph, this gentleman here, he was at the time the poverty community officer from the municipality. And here, what we did was, that's what I'm saying about the mapping, we mapped the whole city and we identified all the areas and the pocket areas needed where there was a poverty aspect. Yeah? So we used the tools of talking to the community, but not just talking to the community, but also bringing the visual aspect into the process. And for him, who doesn't have the experience of mapping or GIS, yeah, he was able to see, and because he knew the area very well, he was able to see where were the pockets, yeah, to have a better understanding. Yeah, so that's what's important, to bring the data and the visual aspect. And then what we have to do is we do need to make sure that in each project or program that you are working on, you can identify the correct tools needed. So when you develop a program or project, you will be identifying the different tools that you can apply when you design your intervention. Yeah? So the SARA is another participatory approach, very similar to the PRA, yeah, that emerged in India, and was to empower the people at the community level to design a program, but also evaluate a program. Yeah? In this case, this context was developed it was in relation to water and sanitation. Yeah? To understand the needs and the water and the sanitation issues in a community. Yeah? So you can see there are several different kind of participatory kind of tools. So another one, this is quite interesting, yeah? So here, when we were doing this, talking to the communities about what is their needs, there is a tool as well where you can, because some of the communities, they are illiterated. So you can have tools where they can express their needs and their feelings based on kind of, instead of writing anything, they can put some faces. Yeah? So here means that in this context, sorry, I don't remember exactly what it is because it's Bangla here. Mm-hmm. Here, so that's what the main issue. Yeah, you can see here the main issue, the bread. So that's the context. I think is what related to water sanitation. So it's a way for you to learn what's needed from that community. So some of the other tools, and it is social capital assessment tool, which is also a methodology to assess social capital. Here is related to social capital. It's a field-tested set of indicators and methodology that measures levels of cognitive and structural social capital in communities designed. So when you go and you identify, initially you have to look what is needed in your context, what you're studying, and then you can identify what kind of methodology you'd like to use. And most of the time those methodologies, they have all the tools and next steps, what has to be followed for you to make sure that it fits to your context. And the social assessment is a process that provides integrated and participatory framework for prioritizing, gathering, analyzing, incorporating social information and participation in design and delivery. Most kind of World Bank use this kind of assessment. Do you have any experience in kind of develop kind of social impact assessment or environment impact assessment, or do you have you done any of this kind of work in water sanitation? Have you done anything?
Environmental impact assessment mostly, more than social.
The environment.
Yeah.
But you use similar tools as well in your, what kind of tools did you use for your?
Not sure, like I'm barely familiar with the terms and their implications, but not very familiar with the tools that what was used or the methodology.
So you didn't, we were not involved
No,
in that?
not much involved, but I barely familiar with the terms, but not in detail.
Yes, and you?
No.
Never done anything?
We've done research about during our academics, architecture, about what it will have an impact on the society or the community around it. But no, not anything regarding to the environmental impact.
Okay, so I think Paul, you might have done something with GIZ, I guess. Paul has, I guess. Paul, it will be interesting to hear your experience. So that's a good opportunity for you. So let's concentrate in the case study, Corel, and try to use some of the tools in order to gather the information. Because this is also, those tools are very important, So in any program that you work, you have to bring the voice of the whole different stakeholders into the program, Not forget anyone, because sometimes, as I mentioned, the programs are designed just for a few groups of people, and then it's not very successful. So we can use the Corel example as for you to test and for you to learn and practice, for you to understand how it works. Yes, please.
In the first part over there, what does it mean by structural social capital? By methodologies that measure levels of cognitive and structural social capital in community.
Structural social capital. I think what it means, you have understand how within the community, what are the different structures related to the capital. For example, I'm going to give an example. That's my understanding. For example, when you look at the community, there are lots of different stakeholders working different levels of productivity. So it's for you to understand and measure the impact of those stakeholders into the context. For example, the case of Dharavi. Within the Dharavi, there is the structure, the governance structure within the community. There are different layers. So there is normally a leader, there is normally a group of the society who is part of doing that, recycling. There is another group of society doing some other intervention. So it's for you to measure the impact of those groups into the context of the program. I think that's my understanding. And when you talk about cognitive as well, it's a very more abstract, isn't it? So when you look at a community, you have to do this mapping recognition of not just structure, but all these soft aspects of governance and structure. I don't know, Regina, can you add something or
No.
no? What you're gonna say? Yeah.
Yeah, about the cognitive structural, okay, it can be understood in terms of people and what is the hierarchy and what is the hierarchy
Yes.
of governance.
Within the community.
Within the community.
Yeah. Always think about this. In this case, is the informal structure, as we know that happens.
But in terms of cognitive, does it go to a very micro level, like to every household?
In my case, in this program, yes, we identified. It depends on the objective and the vision of your program. Yeah. For example, here we want to have a it was a kind of 2 years project. And the mayor wanted to know exactly, at going down level at household, what's the poverty level. So we went, we went down to a household level.
So
It
just
would be good though to have an idea of a household.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it for the entire thing, but I think it's good to have, like if you had several levels of households, I think, knowing the community, that's part of it. How does a household operate? Is a household several families
Yes.
in one? Is there a morning, because a household is what fits inside a house, right? And actually, when you look at the density of a slum settlement like Karel, it's quite interesting. It's very different from a wealthy household, in that there might be two families, one in the morning, one in the evening, occupying the same household. Yeah, so that's interesting to know, right? If that happens all over Karel or only in some. Yeah.
But to have a starting point, how do we segregate the communities based on their cultural background? Because there's like 4 different types of religion background communities in Karel. Or should we segregate them based on their occupation? Because there's a huge range of occupation which is not only limited to Karel, but there are rag pickers, waste pickers who operate in Karel as well as in other slum solid waste dumplands in Dhaka. There are people who work as labor. There are children and males who work at construction sites.
It's not so much the data that you get. We're not interested in data, raw data. We're interested in how informed you are based on your vision.
Yeah, but
And I think that the question you're asking is a question you should answer as a group.
It's a vision. What's your vision? What do you want to achieve using Corel as a case study? What do you want to achieve? Yeah, you have to tell us. So are you going? Oh, we are going to concentrate. That's the issue. Yeah, this is Corel. You have identified the different issues there. For example, we are going to focus here. So then you go down here. But you have to make this decision, isn't it?
Yeah, because with any consultant, it's not about the information you produce, but what you do
with the information.
And we're not interested. You could go into analysis paralysis with so much information, and it becomes useless, right? But if you talk as a group that we think actually what this community needs might be education as the primary goal in order to uplift their thing. And then you need to know what your profile is, and you have to decide what justifies your vision. Yeah, and that's how you begin to sort out this information that you have.
Okay.
Yeah? Information in itself has no value unless you're, particularly for a development project. Yeah, because a development project is focused on what are you trying to do for the community. Just knowing the community doesn't mean anything.
That's Can you need a framework, and you need to see. Okay, we are gonna That's what you're gonna focus on. And then you have to identify your tools to gather that data to answer those questions. Yeah? Do you have something to say, contribute to that? No? Nothing to...
Could our approach be like if we think a bit outside, the tools are like interesting, but could we add another level, like a political level, a class level? Because he said, how would we classify the people on religion or on how we would be contributing to ethnic problems in this way, or as an occupation? Doesn't matter a lot if there I think it's not matters a lot if there are works as long as they're wage earners. It's not doesn't matter if there are works in this industry or this industry. Could we focus on a class level or on a political level or on things like that?
No, I think you have to go a step back. What's your objective? What is the goal? What's the mission of what's the vision? What do you want to do? My vision is, can I give examples, Regina? Yeah? When I develop a program, when I work in a program, so what I want to happen, yeah? I want to provide water and sanitation to all the community. That's my vision, yeah? So that's what I want. So how I get there? Yeah, some activities, some interventions depends on me. Some interventions I can bring other partners to help me to achieve what I want. Yeah, that's the outcome. That's what my goal. Very far. That's what you have to. Yeah, what's your vision of this work in Korea? What do you want to get out of it? Not you, it's for the community. But you have to have this understanding of the whole governance aspect and see how to achieve your vision, your goal. It's far. Yes, I need to understand how the government works, because how can I bring the Dhaka mayor from the city corporation into the discussion? How I can bring the leader of the community into discussion? How can I bring the religious leader according to what is there? I don't know what is there. You have to tell us.
But I think I agree with you. You can add whatever dimension you think is necessary. Because if you were to do, if you were to address waste and sanitation, right, you would have to go into ethnicities and class, right? Because maybe there are some people that will refuse to have that job, right? So you need to go into that and know who can be involved in that part of the project. Because you need to know it will fail because you didn't recognize that, right, in your analysis.
I think we have to have the political and governance aspect in our mind all the time.
Because that might make it succeed or fail.
But I think I would suggest, to do a stakeholder mapping. We have done this already.
Yeah, stakeholder mapping based on their financial backgrounds, because there are also different classes in the slum itself.
Yeah, and the stakeholder mapping is about everything, and then you have to map who is the leader in what. Yeah, so then you understand. Even never been to that community, you understand. This is a powerful person. So how can I bring this power? Yeah, so you have a better understanding of the different role and responsibilities and power, and use what they have there to add value to your project. Yeah? So I just want to show you another. I don't know how do I.
There, it's going.
Is it? No, this is another one. I don't want to show this one now. This is okay, let's see this one first. This is about program in India. Project it's a program now, which is this Slum Dwellers Association.
was initiated. Unfortunately, there is no sound. Have a look and then we can discuss about it. In Mumbai, is the Dharavi. So this program is a very successful sample of community engagement and empowerment. So what happened was a group of savings women, they decided to get together and they formed saving groups. And then they realized how powerful they were doing these saving groups. And then they start to look around and design and different partnerships between the different groups of the saving groups. And then they start to discuss about how can we work in our community and upgrade what is needed here. So together they created this group of empowered group where they were looking at the communities and identify the needs within these communities, and they realized that together they were able to have a stronger voice in talking and demanding with the government. So they were so successful in India that now this group exists in different countries. In Philippines, they are in Africa, in Kenya, they are in South Africa, and it's a network. They realize the importance of together we are able to make changes. So just to give you kind of here they redesign
for urban intensification. Oh wow, really?
So they go to they together with the community, they look how to design the different buildings. And this is Sheila Patel. She's the kind of the mind master behind this the whole process. And she developed the Mahila Milan in Dharavi.
So it's interesting their process for participatory design.
Always, they realize that they can use the tools for different aspects.
So now they have a process of participation and consultation using models.
And then this group has grown so much that they are everywhere. They are in different countries, and because they also realize the importance of they have a process.
Can you pause it? Pause. Oh, go a little behind because I think that's important. I just want to say what a vision is. If you draw it back a little bit, a bit more. The last time there was text there. If you pause it, put a pause. So to build assets, accumulate local knowledge, set priorities, and engage other stakeholders to create more inclusive cities. That's a vision. You see what I'm saying? And it helps you focus, correct? If that were the vision of a project, then it helps you. How do we now build assets? How do we accumulate local knowledge, set priorities, and engage other stakeholders to create more inclusive cities? So we don't just say inclusive cities, but we actually know the stages of what your project is going to do. You understand? So it's quite difficult to focus on what is our group vision. What is the vision? What is the aim of our project? And it's up to you. You can just choose one of those if you want. So upon your next meeting as a group, it's quite important because now you know more or less the community and their assets and all of those things. But how we explain and use that data is completely relevant to the vision that you set. Because now we have more or less an analysis, right? We know what's needed. We know our community, but what would be the vision for development? You see, because once we have something like that, we can develop programs for each of those. You see what I'm saying? We will know how to accumulate local knowledge and why are we doing it, how do we do it, who's involved in it. Yeah, we can begin to break down a project so that it's useful. Yeah?
Yes.
And then we'll be able to deliver it. We will be able to know the time frame.
Yes.
Yeah, develop whatever participatory tools you need.
To engage those stakeholders, then.
Yeah. Because remember, we're developing a project. We're not executing it. Yeah, in other words, this is a master plan for a development project that you're doing.
I just would like to show the African example as well. Is this
You can
one?
copy and paste it. In,
Oh, yeah, but it doesn't.
you can
That's again is the same.
you can go to the
Copy,
go back.
Hold on a second.
You can
With the
escape.
road,
highlight it.
press escape.
But it is not. It's not. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to show you this. Oops. You can now. Fantastic. Let's do it. Thank you very much. Just to show you as well another sample. So that's the very well-known example that the SDI, but there are all other examples as well. So this is about sustainable livelihoods approach, yeah?
My name is Sam Shimbuya. I'm from Zimbabwe, a resident in South Africa at the moment. I think livelihood, the sustainable livelihoods give the basis of how development should happen. And when you do work with communities, you are able to identify exactly where the problem lies. Whether it is lying around the financial assets, the social assets, the human assets, or the natural assets. Usually, natural assets are not a problem at all, but the problem is usually the human assets in their skills and competence, and the social assets in the way they network with others, in the way they feel they belong to certain groupings. I think the SLAs are not in question as to whether they are relevant for now and the future. I think that is not in question. What is in question is how the communities can work together with outsiders. And what I mean by outsiders here are the professionals, the leaders, the development practitioners, the donor agencies, the NGOs, how they can then work together in a trusting discussions so that they can co-sense the issues together and co-create the solutions together, and they can then work together in making sure, in complementing the assets. Because I think the outsiders also have access to a number of assets.
Can you pause it? I just want to explain something.
To complement the assets that are available and are.
Yeah.
So that list that he gave, okay, you need to understand, he puts it collectively as outsiders. But we will ask you, like, for your project to work, create an organizational chart, right? Who are your outsiders? Yeah, who needs to be involved in the project? Yeah, to make it work. And one of the things Nadia and I ask is, who are you? Are you like a consultancy group? Are you an architecture firm? Are you a development consultant? Yeah, and we will ask you that question. How long are you going to be there in the project? What's your role? And when do you exit? Yeah, because we don't want to create a dependency. Yeah, like when does your project become operational on its own?
Make sustainable, when it's sustainable,
Yeah,
sustainability.
yeah. How do you make that transfer? So I think, I just wanted to pause it because I wanted you to know that you can play this back later and you know the list of potential
Yeah.
partners that you could have that are necessary in order to deliver a
But
project.
I think this gentleman, he described it quite well, what it is, isn't it? What do you think? Tell me.
So basically, first we would identify what the requirement is, what that the community needs over there to develop a proposal. Then after that, we would decide what kind of stakeholders or what kind of outsiders should we involve. Correct? Or is it the wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because once the vision is decided, what
Yeah.
the proposal will be, only after that then we can decide, okay, so we need a structural consultant or we need a XYZ something.
Yeah, that's your strategy. Yeah, so you need to create a strategic plan.
How do you
For
bring these
delivery.
people? Yeah. And I think Regina mentioned something very important as well. How long we're going to be there? Yeah, kind of a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years.
And how long is your plan?
And
Right.
how much does it cost?
Yeah,
When you do a planning, you have to also think about the costs related to that.
So in any scenario, there will always be one stakeholder is always confirmed, that is the government, because whatever proposal that we develop would need the government to be there, and the government will only be involved in it if it sees some financial or some
no, in fact,
environmental
if you read
benefit.
the brief, you're working for the mayor.
The mayor employed you.
Yeah, no, this is the mayor asking you
That's
to do this
what is the
project.
brief,
Yeah.
Regina? You have it there.
Yeah,
The mayor has employed
was-
you,
yeah.
asked you, can you help us?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So you're already employed by the...
By the mayor. He is the one who have asked you to come. Yeah? So this is the briefing. Yeah? So this is the background. Yeah, so you have to read it, and according to the briefing. Yeah? The acting mayor, he has employed you because he wants to, he needs your help to improve the
but-
livelihoods in Corel.
But the reason why the government has employed us is because they want either a financial or an environmental.
So they must
Return.
have their own vision in their mind.
The reason why any government would be involved is my understanding is because they need either an economic benefit